Discuss the interdependence between the rise of a new economic order and the growth of cities and towns in the 15th century England. Marks 10 to 12. Answer. The French historian Fernand Braudel rightly says, towns, cities, are turning points, watersheds of human history. He also adds, there can be no door to the rest of the world, no international trade without towns. The mushrooming of towns and cities and the growing urbanization in the 15th century England played a very vital role in the rise of a new economic order. The medieval towns were hubs with magnificent buildings, they had their centers of learning and wealth. A large number of people from various backgrounds flooded into the towns like Manchester, Cambridge and Oxford and undertook various professions, enhancing the process of urbanization. For the lower classes, the peasants and serfs who had been oppressed through rural subjugation, the growth of towns was a beacon of hope, as shifting to towns would mean being able to sever the feudal ties. A town or a city gradually became the ultimate land of opportunity for their economic and social prosperity. They were no longer bound by the feudal setup and were free to earn the due share of wealth. In Europe, especially in England, the towns brought about an industrial revolution and emerged as hubs for communication networks. It is universally accepted that the growth of trade and markets in Western Europe resulted in the weakening and displacement of the feudal system. The growth of urban centers in the 11th and 15th centuries was correlated with the decay of feudalism in Europe. Some scholars propose that the towns during this period had completely rural origins. The residents owed their allegiance to an overlord. Individuals qualified for citizenship based on the agricultural standing. It was only later that trade became the major occupation. Some English towns came up near a river, which enabled them to become trading centers. The location of Cambridge on a ford was clearly responsible for its subsequent growth, as was the case with Oxford. Due to increasing industrialization, the town of London became saturated with workers from various places, having about 50,000 population in the 15th century compared to about 2,000 in the 14th century. The towns with various job facilities fulfilled the peasants' needs, raised standard of living, and so caused the end of serfdom. Different towns displayed varying degree of economic and political independence. Their presence as trading centers had a significant influence, especially on the smaller estates of the knights. This provided a momentum to the money economy. The exploitative acts of the lord drove migration of the rural population from the manors in the countryside to the towns during the declining phase of the feudal system. Thus, the growing urbanization was the sole dynamic force behind all the changes. At the end of the 15th century, the towns and the cities almost paralyzed the feudal economy and proved to be the great scope of socio-economic prosperity for the English people, especially the downtrodden ones. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature. Also, please share this channel to any student pursuing a degree in English literature.